Checkout tracking by the NPD Group brings you a receipt collecting system that gathers data anonymously through technology we created, providing your businesses with answers.
Thank you, Scott, for that kind introduction. Not that I need to say this, because I'm sure everyone here knows this. Scott Foe is an oracle. Every time I talk to him, he lets me in on what he's envisioning to be the next big thing. And sure enough, he's always right on the money. Never bet against this man, because you will lose. We all talk about KPIs in our industry, key performance indicators. A quick Google search will tell you a number of things that you should care about. However, the most important one would be retention. Because without our users, what's the point? Retention is everything in our industry. My name is Mai. I have 3 games in top 100 grossing on Android and iOS. I love to play League of Legends, and when I'm not being trolled on it, this is real. This really happens. I had a guy like this in my last game. I am the founder of the24bit.com. I started this website so I could interview game developers that are incredibly passionate, super intelligent about their work and their lifestyle. You can read all about them on the24bit.com and see for yourself why I admire them. And if you have something interesting to share, let's talk. Connect with me at Tran. So you like puppies. I like puppies. You like cats. I like cats too. I like to torture animals. You like to, no. You don't like to torture animals, all right. Well, now that you know my secret, that makes you my best friend. And because we're best friend, I can share more secrets with you. This is something you can do tonight in your game to increase retention. Create a bundle pack with items your non-paying users would be interested in purchasing. Because I know empirically, through games that I've worked on and are top grossing, that when you convert a non-paying user into a paying user, you increase their lifetime retention by 4 times. And this is actually a graph of Castle's story. The left bar shows the retention of our non-payers, and the right shows the retention of our payers. So what works? Honestly, create a bundle pack that you would purchase. Do not fluff it up with filler items, right? Because who would buy that? Your players will know. In Castle's story, we've made bundle packs where we inserted 3 of our main currencies in the game, and we priced it for $1.99. This is Paradise Bay. They have a pack where they sell you gems bundled with an item that is incredibly useful early game. And here they priced it for $2.99. When you price your bundle pack, keep it low. The goal is to not profit, right? The goal is to convert. Which makes me believe the ARM model, acquire, retain, monetize, is missing something. Arkham. It should be Arkham. Acquire, retain, convert, monetize. Because when you convert your non-paying users into a paying users, that's when the magic happens. Converting and monetizing are not the same things. Because if they paid you once, they'll pay you twice. And if you need help remembering, Arkham. Retention is everything. There are a number of ways to measure retention. We measure retention by day, by sessions played per day, and by session duration. There are many ways, again, so I'm only going to talk about 3 of them really quickly. What are we looking at when we look at day 1, day 3, day 7, day 14, and day 30 retention? These are the milestones that we all look at, right? Well, as a game designer, I look at day 1 retention as proof of promise. Are we delivering on the promise of our game? Are players doing everything that we promised them and that they would be doing? If your numbers don't look good, consider checking out your App Store packaging, because it might not have anything to do with your gameplay. It just could be due to misleading screenshots. Day 3, I look at that as, is the game fun? Because if it's fun, players will definitely be back on day 3. If your numbers don't look good here, consider checking out your early parts of gameplay. Day 7 retention. Actually, I look at day 7 and day 14 as the same thing. It tells you if your pacing's good. Does the level progression, does that feel good? Do the item unlocks, does that make sense? Are players making progress on their game board? Are their characters getting stronger? If your numbers don't look good here, consider checking out the middle parts of gameplay. Lastly, day 30 retention. This tells you if your elder players are still having fun. Because by late game, what is there left to do? Is the game still good? Is it still interesting? If it's not, consider tacking on content near the tail end of the game. It can be something like achievements. Really simple, provides long-term engagement. Day 1 retention. That's a check for proof of promise. Day 3 is a check for fun. Day 7 and day 14 is a check for pacing and progression. And day 30 is a check for elder content. What about sessions played per day? That metric tells you how many times a player logs in and plays your game per day. There isn't a good or a bad number for this. Every single game is different. There are games like World of Warcraft where I log in once a day and play for 5 hours straight. And then there are games like Boom Beach where I log in 10 times a day and play for 5 minutes each time. Find out what your median average is and use that as a health check. So when you're doing better or worse than usual, you know that something's changing in your game and it requires your attention. Session duration, same deal. There isn't a good or bad number for this either. Find out what your median average is and use it as a health check. If you see players playing for like 3 minutes each time they come in and then they log out, and you know players can stick around for at least 6 minutes, use that data and try and maximize their time and find out where they're falling short. So some of the ways to measure retention is by day, sessions played per day, and session duration. All designs affect these metrics. How do we design to push and pull these levers? How do we design to retain our players? Clear goals. Your game should have clear goals as its foundation, because without it, why should players care? What are they doing? Why should players invest their time, money, and energy into your game? In Kim Kardashian Hollywood, the goal is very clear. I want to be the most famous celebrity. Everything I do in this game is to get me closer to this goal. And every day when I play, I see progress. Here I am, breaking the internet with Kim Kardashian. Paparazzis will jump out the bushes to take my photos. Random NPCs will ask for my autographs. And no matter what it is I do, the tabloids, Star News, will write about it. And this is great because every time I play, it's telling me I'm doing a good job. It feels good. I'm getting closer to that goal. In Castle Story, the narrative is the main driver. Our players are invested in the world, the characters, and they want to find out what happens next. And the dynamics in the game are not complex. Players come back week after week doing the same exact things each time, and they don't mind. Because no matter how small the action is, they're progressing something much larger, and that's the story. In Castle Story, this is a graph of Castle Story's quest completion rates. We see anywhere between 85 to 95 quest completion rates compared to other games that I've seen. You're wondering, well, is Castle Story just tuned easier? It's not. A quest in Castle Story can take you anywhere between 3 minutes to 8 weeks to complete. So no, Castle Story is not tuned easier than other games. It's narrative that keeps people. Narrative keeps the players. Your game has clear goals. What else can you do? Make your game social. When you design a feature, think about making it social. And I'm not talking about the kind where you leverage a social network. That's not fun. Design your feature in a way that brings people together, and they're engaging with each other through your product. Because social play is more powerful than solo play. In Kim Kardashian Hollywood, they have a fantastic in-game social media feature. And it's great because in a game where you want to be the most famous celebrity, this makes so much sense. It's just like real life. It doesn't feel forced at all. Unfortunately, only the AI can write about you or say anything about you. You don't have visibility into what your friends are doing, which, makes me leave the game to text my best friend about the game. When you design your social media feature, don't let them leave. They should be able to connect with each other in the game. And if anyone missed this, the tabloids reported that Owen Wilson and I were in a shouting match in the parking lot, and we may be over. My girl's like, whatever, it's fine. I'm dating a Moroccan prince right now. That was so 5 minutes ago. In Castle Story, players can chat with each other. And it's pretty cool because players use this space to chat about whatever they want. It can be about the game, where's it going, what progress, what's their progress like, what are they working on, or really personal things, like how this player knocked someone flat for criticizing her apartment. So this is really cool. The feature is called The Wall, and it's essentially a message board. Players just go onto it and leave each other messages. And Storemate's network is extremely powerful. Every single Storemate game has this feature where you can visit each other and leave each other messages. That's how we stay connected. And another cool thing is that Storemate's network allows you to retain that same ID no matter which Storemate game you play. So if you're playing Restaurant Story 2 and you also play Farm Story 2, players will eventually recognize each other, and it's not uncommon for them to say, hey, I play Farm Story 2, you play Farm Story 2. I recognize you. You have a beautiful kingdom on Castle Story. Another great thing is that this ID is also attached to the forms. So players just get familiar with each other. It becomes a great community. Still, it's not enough. Players should not just be playing the game and then chatting with each other on the side. You want a true social experience, and that's where the magic is. I think Game of War has great social play. So in Game of War, you're not just playing the game by yourself and then chatting with your buddies on the side. Chatting in Game of War can be a call to action. So in this screenshot, my guildmate is being bullied by someone, and he's saying that she has captured 15 other characters, other players, and she needs to be taught a lesson. So he left her coordinates, and he's rallying his guild for help. I took this screenshot live as it was happening. It's serious. So in the corner, there is a kingdom on fire. There are troops marching in all sorts of directions. And down below, the game is telling me that another player is seconds away from being attacked. And this is magical because players are working together for a common goal. They're truly engaged. They're working with each other, given the game's tools to make something happen. So your game has clear goals. It's social. If you do these two things right, the most magical thing will happen. You'll get natural content. Natural content is player-generated. It's always ongoing. And the best part is that it's free. And with the tools that you've given them, you'll see players do some really cool stuff. In Castle Story, we have a fantastic storyline. Still, some players are like, oh, I don't care. I want to build the most beautiful kingdom. That's some of our players' goals. They don't mind. They want to do this. This is what they want to do. And that's fine. The game allows for this. These players will play all the content, level up really high, invest all their time, energy into it, because that means they get brand new items to make their kingdom more beautiful. And that's totally fine. Our game promised that they can do this. We promised them that they can build the kingdom of their dreams, and they don't have to play the game in the way that we want them to. Some players say, you know what, the game is secondary. I care more about the relationships that I have with my friends on the internet. This is more cool to me. And that's fine. Players can do that as well. our more hardcore players will set up this challenge for themselves and then share it with everyone else on the forums and see who would take up this challenge. The green squares are free. The yellow ones, pretty hard. The red ones are insanely hard, and the gray one is not yet available. This player has mapped out how you would go about this challenge, and down below, she listed all the resources that you would need. And it's like 1,000 lanterns, 12 million coins. It's a lot of time. That's going to take you a while to get that done. In Game of War, when you join a guild, you play the game very differently. Depending on what your guild's goal is, that's what you're going to do. Some guilds are like, no, we want to be peaceful. We just want to be friends with everyone. We don't want to attack anyone. Let's just be friendly. Other guilds are like, no, I want to burn everyone down, and I want to be the most powerful. I want to make a name for myself. And some guilds, they're like, you know what? We're never going to be good. We're just going to suck. It's okay. We'll just troll everyone. And that's a real goal. This is a message from one of my guildmates. The king has quit the guild, and he's quit the game in general. He's handed down the crown to a new king. And the new king felt that it was very important to let everyone else know about his new position. So he says here that, he's the new king. He is going to be just like the other king. Nothing will change. And if you work hard, perform well, and you prove yourself under pressure, he may just promote you to rank 4, which is his last position. It gets really serious, and this is great because players are just making up their own game within your game. Your game has clear goals, it's social, and you have natural content. Your game is alive. What more can you do? Daily rewards and bonuses. You should layer that on top. And we all do this. Every single game does this. However, are we doing it well? Because you can't just give players free things and expect them to be attached to your game. Like, why should they care? It's a free item. It's cool. Why? Well, whatever. Some games have seen players logging in, getting the free item, and then logging right back out. And they saw their sessions per day plummet. They saw their session duration plummet. League of Legends does it extremely well. They have a daily reward system where when you win your first game of the day, you get extra influence points. Influence points is a currency that you can use to purchase a brand new champion. And this is great because they're not saying, hey, log in and I'll give you free stuff. They're saying, no, come back, play the game, engage with my product, and win, and then you get your bonus. And that's more powerful than free. I have friends that tell me, I can't wait to log in and get my first win of the day, and then I'm logging off, then I'm logging off. It never happens. They end up playing 5 more games. League of Legends also has a weekly reward system. And this is where Riot says, you know what, we'll pick 10 champions that you can try out for free for the week. And everyone tries it out. And it's great because it requires no commitment on the player's part. And if you don't like anything, no problem. Next week, League of Legends will pick 10 new champions that everyone can try out for free. If you do like something, though, you can purchase it and it's yours forever. Heroes Charge. They have a monthly reward system. Yes, you do log in, you tap on the box, you get your free item. You don't have to engage with the product. Still, if you look closely, they're not giving away random things. They're giving away a bunch of small things that add up to one great thing near the end of the month. If this is your model, consider packing in items that will eventually add up to one big thing. If you look closely, there are things like, hey, on day 2, I'll give you 5 gems. On day 5, I'll give you 10 gems. And on day 17, I'll give you 20 gems. And there are those character tokens on the side. When you collect enough of them, you can trade it in for one whole character. And again, same thing. They stagger it throughout the month so that when you collect enough of them, you can trade it in. Game of War. Game of War has an hourly reward system. It's called Secret Gift. And this secret gift has a timer on it. When the timer is up, you can tap on the chest and it gives you a small reward. I've seen this timer go anywhere from 5 to 50 minutes, and it does everything it sets out to do. Because I've been in situations where I see 5 minutes on the clock, and I said, you know what, I'll stick around in the game. I'll wait for that chest to be ready. It's just 5 minutes. And then when I get my little gift and I collect it, I'm restarting that timer. And that's really important because I'll get my next gift sooner. So their feature increases sessions played per day, because again, that timer is anywhere between 5 to 50 minutes. Players are going to keep coming back. And it increases session duration, because players like me will say, you know what, again, 5 minutes, I can wait. I'll keep playing the game just to get that chest. Why not do all of these, right? When you design these features, go ahead, put them all in. Why not? Daily, weekly, monthly, hourly, do them all. When you design your feature, though, design it in a way where players interact with the product to get that item, to get that bonus. Make sure the rewards are relevant to all players. You don't want to give things that's like for level 50 and your level 1 players can't use it. It's irrelevant to them. They're not going to care. And when you design your feature, make sure you know exactly what it is you're trying to push and pull. Because when the data comes back, you don't know what you're going to tweak, right? Know exactly what it is you're trying to design and who you're targeting it for. Your game has clear goals, it's social, it's alive, and you layer it on daily rewards and bonuses. That's all great. However, the #1 way to retain players is through developer activity. Think about it. Your game is out in the market, and you don't support it anymore. If you don't care, why should the player care? You know, it doesn't have to be anything big. It can be small. It can be a brand new item or short quest chain. Again, anything. It's kind of like Game of Thrones, when you wait around every Sunday to yell at your TV because your favorite character died. It's the same deal. When you have something good, players are going to want more, and you should give it to them. I drove this point home in my last talk called Castle Story and the Resurrection. It's available on YouTube. You can check it out. A regular content cadence saved Castle Story. This is our App Annie rank history, and you can pull it up yourself. We were top 300, top 200 grossing, and I wasn't happy. That's not good enough. And so we're like, you know what? Let's do this. Every Thursday at noon, every week, we're not going to miss this. We're going to release something new into the game. And you can see here, it increased our ranking dramatically. We were up in top 100. So what kind of content were we releasing? We were doing things like short quest chains, like that. We were doing brand new items, one small thing. We also do events. So this is our world event. We run these every other month, and it goes on for a month. And this is not a competitive event. It's co-op. Everyone that plays Castle Story get together and they participate. So the top 5 prizes are prizes that you earn based on your own contribution. And the bottom 3 is based on the entire community. And this is great because everyone's just, being friendly and working together, playing the game. Every time we release brand new content to the game, we see sessions played per day go from 6 to 9. And each time they play, we saw an increase of 10 minutes each session. In Kim Kardashian Hollywood, they don't release content weekly in that rate. However, they do things monthly. So this is their latest release. It's actually this morning. So here it says you can soak up the sun with Kim in Santa Barbara. There are new clothes, new fans for you to acquire. And this is great. It keeps the game going. They do events as well. Every Thursday, they tease their event. And then from Friday to Sunday is the actual event's duration. And the cool thing about it is that they don't make players choose. When I log in to play the game, I never say to myself, do I want to play the game or participate in the event? 90% of the time, When I play the game, I just automatically participate in the event. And that's great, because who can be mad? I'm getting free stuff out of it. The events are all different each time, and the prizes are different each time as well. It could be new hair, new makeup, new shoes. And every time they put out new content, you can see that there are spikes in top grossing. Have a dependable cadence, because your players depend on you. Clear goals, social play, natural content, daily rewards and bonuses, and developer activity. Those are some of the ways you can design to retain your players. Special thanks to Laura Hellinger, Matthew Lanahan, Catherine Stavola, and Jialing Pan for being my best friend. You're also my best friend. Because we're best friends, I'll share another secret with you. Push notifications. We all do this. If your game is a crafting game, you'll have something that says, hey, your bread is ready, come pick it up. If your game is a farming game, hey, your cows are hungry, come feed them. In Castle Story, we started doing something different. We started writing custom push notifications to send to our players, and we targeted it to specific player groups. And when we did that, we saw a 25% increase in DAU. And you can do this tonight in your game. When you write it, make sure you know who you're writing it for and what the information, if it's relevant. Do not spam your players, because once they turn off push notifications, you have lost them forever. Write them things that are funny, relevant. Those are the two main things. And here's a bonus secret. Everyone is so afraid to share what they know, what works, what doesn't work. Until 7 billion people play our games, we should grow this pie together. Connect with me on Twitter at Tran. My name is Mai. Thank you so much.